What's going on, Movie Meals? How are we doing today? What is going on, Movie Meals? A little live stream. Look at this. I'm not so bright today. No Tanner, no another happy landing. So I decided to do a little live stream, drop it early, hoping everybody can hear me. Hope everybody's, you know, I got all this tech working. The tech can be a pain in the butt sometimes. So hopefully it's all working correctly. Um, but we're here to talk Star Wars Visions. So if you want to join the live stream, join in the chat. If you don't care. We've done live streams before. I love it. If I look down, it's because I'm double check, make sure everything's working. I like how this looks. Looking a lot better with a little bit different light setup. We'll glare on this side here, but so far so good. All right, Star Wars Visions. I want to get into it. I want to talk about it. Again, Tanner's not here today. No another happy landing. Um, we are going to review episode 6 soon. If you haven't seen, we've been doing a rewatch of everything. So go check all that stuff out. I mean, we rewatched episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, one of the best of the best. I'm going to pull up the episodes here just so we can kind of talk about them. Finally got to sit down and watch them. Wednesday, I watched pretty much all of them. I just needed to finish the last couple. Let's see. Star Wars Visions. Where are you? Here we go. All right. So let's get into Star Wars Visions right now. Um, First and foremost, very first episode, the duel, I thought was incredible. I loved it. I thought the animation was beautiful. I love the fighting. I love the twist in this episode. Also, all spoilers, by the way. We're going to talk spoilers today. So if you don't want to be spoiled, bummer. Hopefully, you've already seen all 9 short films. Also, thank you to Movie Meal patrons Steve, Kimberly, and Karen. Go be a member of the patron, or go be a member of the Patreon. Go join the patronage, whatever it's called. It's linked in the description. Same with our merch. You know, I got the poster up there, half hidden, things like that. But anyway, the duel. Okay, the duel was awesome. It had a twist. I mean, we're getting. Oh, you're a Jedi. No, I'm a Sith too. Or is he? Is just a guy making his way in the galaxy? I love the twist on R2. I loved him coming out Iron Man style, shooting all the bullets everywhere. It was awesome. Um, the duel was one of my favorites. It's short. It was 14 minutes. I really enjoyed it. Um, I thought it was some of the most beautiful animation I had seen in a while. As a big fan of anime, obviously we can tell that. I was over the moon with how much I loved it. I thought the duel was a perfect one right off the gate to start with. I thought that's how good this this series is going to be. We move from the duel to Tatooine, Raspity. Um, and I liked it. If I had to rank them, I think it might be the bottom for me. But I really liked the introduction of Boba Fett. I liked some of the stuff with Jabba the Hutt. It was a very anime. We have, family and friends as such a powerful theme. Um, and I ended up really liking it. I thought it was a good one. I thought the song was solid, but overall it just didn't hit in every aspect for me. So I do have it towards the bottom for for um for the series so far. Um then we move into the twins. And this is one I was super hyped for after the trailer. If you were watching Another Happy Landing when Tanner and I were discussing shots from the trailer, what we were desperate to see. One of them was, look at this fight that's happening on an Imperial Star Destroyer with this crazy whip lightsaber. And I really wanted to see that. And I thought it was a really great twist on Luke and Leia. That, what if the twins were born of darkness? What if they were born of the Sith? And how do they end up becoming this quick story they tell. How do they end up becoming a part? How does one end up becoming basically a Jedi? I loved it. I loved the X-wing. I loved the droid. There were a lot of good new creative droids in this show. Um, but I thought it was all great. I thought the fight was awesome, and I really loved the end with him in the X-wing standing on top of it, looking at the twin sons and saying, "That's my sister." And it's a good twist on the twin story of Luke and Leia, that they were born of darkness and one saw the others. He's not really a Jedi, he says, but he's like, look, I've seen your fate and I don't want to lose you, sister. So I really liked the twins. I thought it was excellent. I mean, I thought it was legitimately excellent. I thought it was one of my favorites. Then we get into the Village Bride, and the Village Bride blew me away. I thought the Village Bride's animation was arguably the best of them all. I thought the story was really unique. I loved, I have to protect my family. I loved that wedding scene where the people there are like, look, we don't want you to do this. You are our queen. We do not want you to give yourself up. We could fight. And she says, no, I have to do this. This is to protect my people for this story of them as children, and then for her to show up and reveal she's a Jedi and protect everybody. I really loved it. I thought that animation was very Studio Ghibli-esque. I really liked how it looked. Um, I thought it was beautiful from start to finish. I really, really liked that episode a lot. The Ninth Jedi, I was very curious of this in the trailers with some girl jumping off and then spinning a lightsaber and slashing a speeder. I remember in the trailer, I was like, what is this? I have to know what this is. What is going on here? Um, and again, I loved it. I thought that animation was great. I love this idea of, all these Sith who are dark saber users getting this call and lying, this call for Jedi. I have lightsabers for you. I really liked the dad who was making all the lightsabers and how he was making them, and the fact that his daughter's lightsaber had not had color yet, and that the crystals, because there's always been this debate, do crystals really go off of the user, or do they pick certain crystals? There's a little bit of canon inside of it, and there's a lot of legends that talks about it, but there's not a lot towards the new canon anymore. And we know that, green is supposed to be for the for more wisdom Jedi, Yoda, Qui-Gon, who was so obsessed with prophecies. And then blue is supposed to be a little more battle ready. And when we see Luke go from blue to, well, his father's blue, to creating his own green, it shows that he's going to be filled with much more wisdom, um not necessarily fighting. And I think we see that a lot in Return of the Jedi, which I am currently just finished, which I currently just finished. And I think that it really um shows, I really like that these aren't canon, and I think that's a bit ridiculous. I think they could easily be canon, and it wouldn't be a big deal. I think hard fans would scream, "Boba Fett went after these band members." It's like, relax, relax. It's a little bit of fun. Suspend your disbelief. There was nothing in there that I sat there going, "Wow, this is breaking canon harsh." Everything was such a tight knit story that I thought it really worked. I hope we get a season two. But back to the Ninth Jedi, I thought the Ninth Jedi um, really showed what it was like after the fall, and I liked this twist story with a little bit of the kind of the robot Gundam style you kind of get with the Jedi living in there, one infiltrating these Siths as they got word. I loved that she showed up. I loved the one kid who first shows up and he asks to hold the blue lightsaber, and he's just kind of in awe because he's never held one really before, because the fall happened when he was very young. And I just I thought it was one of the best episodes. Thought the animation was incredible. I mean, the animation is incredible from start to finish. This is anime we're talking about. When they have bad animation, it sticks out so much because of how good their animation truly is. And I really loved this series. I loved the Ninth Jedi. Um, let's keep moving here. Gotta get my phone to unlock. So following the Ninth Jedi, we get TOB1. Uh, or is it T0B1? It looks like zero to me. Who knows? This kind of twist on Astro Boy. And I remember when the featurette came out, the creators were talking about it. They wanted to do it. Astro Boy belongs in Star Wars. He's a Star Wars type of droid. And I liked that idea, this idea of a Jedi building a son, kind of a Pinocchio story with an Astro Boy story. And I really liked it. I thought it was one of the most fun episodes of them all. The animation was great. I loved the childlike aspect, him going into the ship, activating it to find out that his maker is a Jedi. For then an Inquisitor Sith comes and kills him, and they have to have this epic fight. I loved the Aang moment, it felt like, of talking to Roku. I loved the it's a very anime moment. I'm rewatching Naruto right now, and I just finished, I mean, spoiler for Naruto if you haven't, it's ridiculous that you haven't seen it, but I just finished Jiraiya's death again, rewatching the show. And the moment where Jiraiya's hand touches Naruto's shoulder, and it had a very reminiscent moment of that, of this young kid accepting who his what his destiny is as he loses his master, very Luke and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Luke used the Force. Luke, as he's trying to use the radar to shoot down and blow up the Death Star, and I really liked that. I really liked what um what was brought by this story. I thought it was very fun, more energetic is what the episode felt like, because we're following a young child, a child, a robot, but I really liked it. I thought it was a very well done episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. Um, Moving on now we're getting into my personal favorite episode. There's only 3 left. Episode 7, The Elder. I was very interested in this when I mean, I'm obviously interested in all of them, but I was very interested in this when I looked at the trailer, the first official trailer, and we saw this kind of Elder Sith fighting some Jedi. And what I really liked about this episode, um, it was very Obi-Wan Anakin. It was very my favorite part of Star Wars, this master and apprentice feel of the Jedi, of learning as a young kid is learning how to act. Um, he ended up not dying, the Padawan, which I thought might have been maybe a bit of a mistake. I think it maybe would have hit harder, but we never see his master lose confidence in the Force and lose confidence in his training, even though his apprentice is injured very badly. He still rushes to help him, but he doesn't give into his anger. And I like the thing about this episode that I loved so much was the conversation. I loved how deep the studio got into what it truly means to be a Jedi, and the conversation of, I don't think I would have beaten this guy in his prime. Like, he talks about it, I wish I was in my prime. I could, had I fought this guy in my prime, I would have put up a better fight, or it would have been a lot more fun because how powerful his master is. And I thought that moment was really powerful because it was such a lesson episode. It was really, this is what it means to be a Jedi. This is what happens when you're fighting, and splitting up and everything. The master saying, the smart move would be to do this, and the young kids going, "Hey, I want to go. Why don't we split up? We could always do that, and I can go check out the mountains." And he says, "Hey, are you just saying that to go on an adventure, basically?" And he goes, "No, I'm the best rock climber." Like, it makes sense. And his master understands that he has to learn this through his own trial, and lets him go. And I thought the animation was beautiful. It was very samurai. I mean, so many of this was samurai-esque. I mean, the shot of him pulling the lightsaber out as if it's a sword is one of the best shots I've ever seen. It reminds me a lot of Ahsoka pulling out the blades at the same time. And I loved it. And back to the Elder, I thought the fight was amazing. It was quick. Obviously, it's a short series, but it was very quick in the way that when Jedi and Sith are fighting, it's not brute force. The kind of the sequels kind of seem like that. It feels like it's a lot more jabbing, stabbing, brute, I'm just stronger, I will beat you mentality. And some of this old training stuff, in this episode, we see a lot of it's a mind game. It's really a dance. And who is going to, it's a chess match. Who's going to hit checkmate first? And I really thought this episode really brought that out. It is my favorite of all of them. I have it at number one. I adored it. I thought it was so, 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 so good. It is my top one by far. Lapin Ocho was one that I know Tanner and I kind of talked about, like, oh, they're doing the animal style animation that they do so much in anime for Star Wars. And, I kind of made it sound like a negative. And I was watching the episode, I was like, what is wrong with me? There is no better place for this type of story than Star Wars. There's aliens everywhere. You're telling me I can't see an alien like that? And I thought it ended up being one of my favorite episodes as well. I thought it was a very powerful family story of what it means to, how family truly means. He even says it. The dad in the episode says it, family is not all about blood. It's not always a bloodline. It is doing the right thing for the people you care about. And I loved this sister dynamic. It's one of the ones I wanted with the elder. I thought these two, if anything, I'd love to see another one of. I felt very similar with the Ninth Jedi and the Duel, but these ones I really was just sitting there like, man, I would love to see this like a sequel. Let's see what happens the rest of the story. Give me another 15 minutes of this story. What happens next? And I really liked the family dynamic. I love the beginning with, are you a slave of the empire? Come join us. I love the traditional Japanese kind of passing the katana along with the saber of going to the cellar in the basement, of your of your home and finding this sword that has been passed down for generations. I love that trope. It's not even really a trope. I love that type of storytelling. And I really liked it here. This is one of the best episodes by far. I will do a formal ranking here at the end because I haven't really done it. So since we're doing it live, I'll just kind of go off the cuff. And then the last one is Akiri. And this episode's animation at first kind of threw me off. It was just so drastically different than what I have seen or what I'm necessarily used to in anime. And I ended up really enjoying it. I thought the story was really good. It was another version of Anakin's fall for the dark side. I liked these sisters who had dual philosophies in life. One becomes a Sith Lord because she desires power so much, and then this Jedi who goes to help this woman that he fell in love with years ago when he heard she was in trouble to help her reclaim her throne, ultimately for him to end up killing her in his own rage and not being the Jedi that he's trained to be and not having patience and trusting in the force and trusting in himself, and he ends up accidentally killing her, and then she shows him how to bring her back using force energy, transferring it. Obviously he doesn't die like Kylo does, but I really thought this episode was very beautifully done. By the end of it, I was like, this is a beautiful episode. I don't know if it's one of my top three, but I thought it was just so beautiful in the way it handled the twist on Anakin's story. Anakin and Padme with at the same time the Emperor and all these different dualities at play and what it means to be a Sith. He could have just healed her and said, okay, I'll stay a Jedi. But it's like, no, you gave into your hate and now you've seen what the power can truly do that you couldn't have done. So he's seduced by it. And I really, really liked that episode as well. So to rank them from top to bottom, I'll go from bottom to top here. Um, I would have Tatooine Rasputin at episode 2 at the bottom of my list. Um, that would be last for me. Then, unfortunately, I think I would go with TOB1. And again, I loved every episode. I really loved every episode. I overwhelmingly loved some. But I would probably go TOB1 next and then Akiri. Akiri and those two are close for me, but I would put them in that order. I think following that, I would go with the twins. Again, another incredible episode. So far, I would go episode 2, episode 6, episode 9, and then episode 3. Now left is the Duel, the Village, Ninth Jedi, the Elder, Lapin Oko. I would probably do after the twins. I'll probably go the Duel, just because as much as I loved it, it might have been the best animation of all of them. It didn't hit me as hard. It is a great first one, but I probably would put that next, going up, and then I would you know what? You know what? I'm gonna flip-flop. I think I'll go Ninth Jedi, then the Duel, and then I would go the Lapin Ocho, Village Bride, and then The Elder in that order. Um, I loved them all. I thought they were amazing. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments, in the chat, whatever. What you think. Rank the episodes. Um, I do want to mention something off, that just popped into my head that I saw trending on Twitter that I just want to talk about. I want to see. Let's see real fast if I can pull up the actual tweet. Star Wars. So there was a tweet somebody posted. about how Star Wars Visions was too Japanese culture. And I'd want to find, if I can, the actual tweet, um, just so I can. I'm trying to find it here. Man, how this thing was buried by Twitter. I mean, as it should be because it was stupid, but I would like to read the actual tweet. Should have prepped. We're going live off the cuff here. Should have prepped. Um, I don't find it here in a second. I think there's a couple people I followed that had retweeted it. Yeah, I might need to go to one of them. Going live, going live. Let's see. Not sure I'm gonna be able to find it. Just a bit of a bummer. All right. Well, so this tweet um talked about that. Let's see. I'm gonna give it one more try here. Found it. Okay. So this guy tweets, as good as some Star Wars Vision short films are, there simply are too many Japanese cultural elements. Samurai, sake, etc. It's a neat show, but it ain't Star Wars. It's anime with a few elements of Star Wars. Thank God it's not canon, so I can just enjoy the episodes I like. This is one of the most ridiculous and uncultured tweets I've ever seen. This is somebody who clearly does not understand what Star Wars is. Um, you can find clips anywhere of George Lucas telling you that Star Wars is heavily based off of the original Seven Samurai film. Boom. Are you kidding me? It's too Japanese? Are you kidding me? Where do you think lightsabers come from? Where do you think this story of fatherhood and what it means to be a hero comes from? It comes from that culture. Um, this is just such a white privilege thing that Star Wars was made in the West, so it's Western, and it's just blatantly not true. It is so deep in Japanese lore and culture, and I thought letting true Japanese animators take a real crack in the medium that is so heavily popular and heavily used and influential. I mean, look at this same guy probably is obsessed with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Guess what Avatar: The Last Airbender is? It's all Japanese influenced culture because that's what it is. It was a Western take story on so much of what we get from Japan. And to say that Star Wars has too much of that is just absolutely a travesty. It should be canon. There's nothing in here that really diverts canon. If you're that upset that Boba Fett did something like that, get over it. You need to take a hard look in the mirror. But I mean, I loved that we got an opportunity to let the some of the best animators in the entire world who did some of the best and unique animation I've ever seen get to tell any story in Star Wars they want. That is what the sequels should have been. That is what JJ Ryan and then I guess JJ, which should have been Colin, were supposed to get to do. They were supposed to get to make these stories based off of just the one before and everything George had ever inspired and really gone to town with it. And that's what these animators got to do. And they created some unique and incredible stories that are just so tightly knit in a bow. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And to like that is what how can you look at Obi-Wan Kenobi taking Anakin's lightsaber and keeping it in a chest in his home and saying, Your father would have wanted you to have this, and not realize that that is such a Japanese cultural thing to do? I mean, we see it in Star Wars Visions, in Lapin Oko when she is. I mean, we see it in like five of them, but I'm just using this one as a reference because of the way that they really utilize it of going to the basement where the family crest is. You know, it reminded me a lot of Naruto with Sasuke going to the ancient temples of the Uchiha and reading their scrolls, and given the saber for the first time. It is that is all Japanese culture, and to to tweet something like that is such a poor taste on what it truly means to accept a culture that is so influential. These were not anime stories with a little bit of Star Wars. This was the combination of both at its best, and I love it. I mean, these not being canon to me is so stupid. It should be, and if you truly have a deep cut problem with it, then I really do believe you need to look in the mirror. Obviously there are some people who are going to say it's my opinion, and it is your opinion, but what truly in these stories breaks canon? More, nothing in this broke canon more than pretty much anything in the Rise of Skywalker. And everybody's going to shout at me, "Last Jedi, Last Jedi, Last Jedi." This Rise of Skywalker does it and says, "Hold my drink right now." It does it so poorly, and the way it treats the legacy characters. In the end, in Rise of Skywalker, I mean, everybody. I mean, Leia is not used very well, and I'm reading some of the Leia books right now, and it's not her training or anything. That's not the problem. It's just other parts. I'm going on a rant. We'll get to that when we get to Rise of Skywalker, my our rewatch with Tanner. But this to me just makes no sense. It makes zero sense. I do not understand how people believe this. This tweet got obliterated and went viral for negative reasons, as it should, because it's just simply not true. And if you truly disagree with me, I would love for you to comment down below. Let's have a conversation about it, and let's really dive into why you think that, and let me really fully dive in more to why I think that, and have a conversation, because I truly don't think anybody who actually understands the lore of Star Wars, um just they wouldn't say something like that. It makes me think a lot of the interview I've seen when watching the Schmodown back in the day, where Sam Witwer talked about Freddie Prinze Jr. and how Freddie struggles in the Schmodown because he's not necessarily a Star Wars super knowledgeable trivia geek. Not that he doesn't know trivia, but that it just at that insane level that some people get to, like Star Wars theory and those guys. And he talks about how he would challenge anybody to against his knowledge of what truly Star Wars is. And I've always listening to Freddie Prinze have really appreciated that. And I think that there's a lot of fans who think that because they breathe the Star Wars as literal air to them, and they suck in as much knowledge as possible, that they think they somehow superior, even when they don't fully understand what Star Wars truly does mean at the end of the day. And I just I hope that this guy has looked at all these tweets and taken a hard look in the mirror on how wrong he truly is. Um, yeah, but I wanted to mention that Star Wars Visions. We'll talk about it again on another Happy Landing with Tanner, probably, when we film the episode next week. He was just incredibly busy this week, and I want to wait and talk about Return of the Jedi with him. But look forward to that, guys. There's a ton of videos on our channel. Lots of great stuff right now. Go check all of them out. Big movies are dropping here soon. October is going to be a pretty hectic month. It'll be a fun one. Go back to the movie theater. Everybody stay safe out there. Go be a member of the Patreon. Go. Thank you to the Movie Meal patrons. Go get some merch. It's all linked down in the description. Follow us on Letterbox, Twitter, TikTok, all that great things. And thanks for tuning in to the live stream. And as always, thank you for watching, Mom, and we'll see you next time, guys.